Alderman Hutchinson. Here. Alderman Owen.
Here.
Alderman Schneider.
Here.
We have 6 aye votes. We have quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll first move to our minutes. We'll first look at the November 16th, 2023 session. Any questions about those minutes as printed? Yes, Alderman Hutcherson.
Oh, no, that's.
Okay, okay. Okay. If not, is there a motion that we move some as printed? Okay. Okay, so motion is to approve the November 16th, 23 minutes as printed. Motion was made by Alderman Alder. It was seconded by Alderman Owen. All in favor, do so by show of hands. And it carries. Now we'll look at November 20th, 2023, our regular session of City Council. Any question regarding these minutes as printed? Okay. If not, is there any motion? Okay. Okay, the motion was made by Alderman Alder, second by Alderman Hutchinson to approve the November 2023 sessions. All in favor, do so by show of hands. And it carries. Okay. Next, we'll move on to several matters. We do have a scheduled guest tonight. I'd like to welcome Jeannie McFalls. She's got a subject she wants to approach us about. Evening.
Let me hand these out.
Yeah. I got mine already.
Do I need to identify my mailing address and everything?
Yes.
Jeannie McFall, 1324 East Warren Avenue, Ozark, Missouri. And the reason I'm here, I had provided this information to Sam back the first of the year. And with her leaving, I heard that nobody had heard about it. So I thought you guys have wanted to get the neighbors involved in Ozark. This is a program available through the University of Extension. David Burton is the administrator of the program, and he is located out of Springfield. It is called Engaging Neighbors. And just a few questions I had for you guys. How many live in a subdivision with a homeowners association? 2. 3. How many events do your neighborhoods have in a year? Not necessarily with the homeowners association, but just have events like a block party, a parade, a picnic, 4 different events. But that's only 1, 2. Okay. And then how many employees actually live in the city of Ozark?
Many employees? I don't know right offhand how many actually.
Half,
Yeah.
a third, a fourth?
third to a half.
Okay. And then the other question I had is neighborhood associations. Is that available for Ozark? Springfield has 20 of those. And what is the process to get a neighborhood association with requirements and application?
There's not any formal designation for a neighborhood association here in Ozark. So there's not a formal process for becoming one. It's certainly an interesting idea, one we've thought about, but there's not a formal process.
Especially for the older neighborhoods that you were concerned about the care and the maintenance. I thought that might be a possibility to do that. And with its Engaging Neighbors, they do have a monthly newsletter available through the Missouri Extension. They have a couple of events. There is a Good Neighbor Week that they have. They also have a Neighborhood Art Week, and that is June 1st through the 15th. A lot of times you'll see neighborhood, like little libraries that they have where you can exchange books in the neighborhoods, those type of things. And there is an event coming to Springfield, March and April, and it's the author of The Changing American Neighborhood. With all the things going on, people are wanting to retire in place They want to buy a home and be able to stay in that neighborhood, know their neighbors, and be able to make minor changes to the neighborhood. So those are just things that I thought you might want to consider, and maybe consider contacting David to maybe do a presentation. The Missouri Extension will be speaking tomorrow at the Christian County Commissioners meeting. It won't be David, but they're giving updates on some of the programs that they have available. And the last one that I gave you, I think was in the book, but I just happened to copy it. It's deficit-based and access-based. And if we looked at the assets instead of the deficits when we're looking at the city, I think we would be much better off. So just keep that in mind. And I will leave both of these books. He did donate these that you can look at. This particular one is a training session that you can do to build good neighbors and find out what the neighbors have as assets that they can help each other out with.
Thank you. Does any council member have a question for Ms. McFalls? Okay, yes, Alderman Hutcherson, Alder, sorry. Did you?
What was the date of the Springfield in March?
There's a date in March and a date in April, and I don't have the exact dates,
Okay.
but I do have David's phone number and his email if you'd like it.
Sure.
His phone number is 417-848-3442. 3442. And his email address is Burton, BURTOND @missouri.edu.
Is Missouri spelled out?
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
And I did check with the extension office here in Ozark for Christian County, and they said that they would be using him if this was a program that you were interested in.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Hutcherson.
I was on the University Extension Council for several years, and his presentation is really interesting, really valuable. You know, the police department also has a certified neighborhood building program. And there are a lot of good resources out there to build safer and friendlier neighborhoods.
Right.
It's great.
And I did check, and we don't have a neighborhood watch program in Ozark, so this might be a way to start to get towards something like that.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now we'll move on to our first readings, which of our bills resolution, which also is open for public discussion. Well, first, we'll begin with bill number 3499.
I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3499 on its first reading by title only.
Okay, second by,
Second.
okay. Bill number 3499 on first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. All in favor of voting to discuss bill number 3499, do by show of hands. And it carries.
An amended ordinance amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally known as a parcel approximately 4.18 acres bordered by South 9th Street on the east with a conditional overlay.
Okay, I have Director Cameron Smith.
Yes, the application is for the rezone of property approximately 4.818 acres to from R1A single family to R4 high density multifamily. The property is currently vacant at this time. The property has been determined that it can be serviced by city water and sewer. The surrounding properties R4 high density residential and R1C single family to the north, R1C single family residential to the east across Ninth Street, R1A single family residential to the south, and R3 medium density residential to the west. The comprehensive plan did recommend the property's future land use as parks, recreation, and open space. And then based on the surrounding zonings, the requested zoning would be appropriate to fit in with the surrounding uses. Based on staff's report and findings, staff did recommend approval of this zoning request. At the planning and zoning meeting, as discussed prior, that they did make a motion to approve and it failed at a vote of 8-1. Following that meeting and at the last meeting, you may recall, we drafted a motion revision to place some additional conditions over the zoning as a conditional overlay ordinance. In working with the applicant, they're in agreement with that. The first condition would limit the new buildings to no more than 2 stories. No vehicular drive access shall be permitted to South 9th Street. And the building setback from the western edge of right-of-way of 9th Street would be increased from 25 required by code to 160 feet. So a significant setback off of 9th Street. With that, be happy to answer any additional questions that you guys have.
Alderman Owen?
I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, you take that off, sorry.
Oh, okay. Any questions for Director? Yes, Alderman Hutchinson.
It's my understanding that these conditions met all the concerns of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Is that correct?
I wouldn't phrase it that way necessarily. The first application that came through that's on second reading tonight, they did recommend a condition of no more than 2 stories for future buildings there. The commission did not even consider conditions on this application. It did cause some confusion that evening with the commissioners. The motion was made in a second prior to addressing that, and they chose not to amend that motion and they took it on through for vote. But however, the first condition did address the concerns on the first application, which was approved. However, they didn't consider the conditions on this application.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the board? Question for Director Cameron Smith. Okay, thank you, sir. Because this is first reading this time, is there anyone here who would speak for or against bill number 3499? Please come up to the mic. I'm not seeing even movement. Okay. Last chance. We all seen it. Oh, thank you. Is everyone on Zoom? Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, if not, bill 3499 be held for a future meeting. We're now going to go to bill number 3511.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3511 on its first reading by title only.
And seconded by. Okay, bill number 3511 on its first reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, seconded by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on this motion, discuss bill 3511, do by show of hands, and yes, it carries.
An ordinance adopting a budget for the city of Ozark, Missouri for the 2024 fiscal year.
Okay. Is this going to be city administrator or?
Yeah.
Director? Okay, go.
I'll get us going here. If you've got any, I can get it going the right way. Got any questions for the finance director, then we can certainly ask myself and finance director any questions. So the administration and the finance department are pleased to bring forward the proposed 2024 budget for the city of Ozark. On the first few pages of the budget, you are going to see the different funds. There are 9 different funds in the city of Ozark, and you're going to see the total revenue, the carryover from the previous year, as well as the disbursements of those. And then you can see that each one of the balances that we are proposing in each one of the funds is a balanced total. And so we've got that on the first few pages. We have met with the Board of Aldermen and gone over each department and got an opportunity to visit with everybody, answer questions, put the budget together. As you know, the budget is a series of many drafts. As we get to the end of the year, you're trying to figure out where you're going to end up on 2023, which is the next ordinance, which are the amendments that you will see. And those projections of where you're going to end in 2023 allow for you to do the best that you can to project what your cash carryover is going to be, to include those with your new revenues. So new revenues, cash carryover, and that's what equals the balances that you see. To hit on a few highlights, I want to make sure that everyone knows that the city of Ozark is a great place to work. I say that because we are able to balance our budget with taking care of our workforce. that is, as in all of our discussions with the Board of Aldermen, been a very top priority to create the best work environment that we can, to be a competitive work environment and one that is able to deliver back the highest performance level to our citizens. In doing that, the budget does consist of a 6% adjustment. I want to make sure that everyone understands that that is a 3% adjustment for cost of living. That is the average from the National Federal Reserve, as well as a 3% eligible step raise. Just last year, the city of Ozark adopted a new step chart, and each one of those steps represents 1.5%. That is something that we put in place. That was something that many of our departments, from the police department on, were asking for. It gives your employees the opportunity to understand where they're at and where they have the potential to be. And so that is based on merit review. So that is a 6% adjustment in that area in the salaries for the city. Let's see. I'm going to move on. I do want to hit a few highlights. ARPA funds. Wow. ARPA funds have definitely been a benefit to the city, but it has certainly been a challenge to the finance department and the city to have to manage those funds and make sure to work with the board to put those towards good projects. The city of Ozark received 2 allotments from ARPA funds that began in 2020. So in 2020 and 2021, the city received $4,172,797 in additional federal funds. And here, I'll go back to page 1 here. Anyway, and with that, we have been working to allocate those funds towards projects that would return the best return on investment for the city. We have to allocate all the funds by 2025, and we have to spend all those funds by 2026. So back in 2022, after receiving them, we waited till the full amount was in. We began doing projects. Just a few of the highlights. We have significantly increased our purchase of police vehicles in each one of the years. We are utilizing ARPA funds to do that. I think that's a good thing for the city. Certainly, we have been focusing on facilities. We have very old facilities that is hard to grow in square footage. And so we're trying to remodel to maximize the usability of those facilities to be able to find more workspaces for a growing workforce. So modifications to our facilities, which you may look over to Brick Street right now. There's a new roof being put on there so that we can protect our investments of remodeling and creating new workspace. So facilities, police cars, a few other things. Stormwater projects can be very challenging in a karst topography that has a lot of hills. We've got a lot of stormwater challenges, so we've invested back in our infrastructure in that way. Going forward, we have also invested in park and recreation, which is, for example, Garrison Springs, and saving one of the important assets of our culture and our history there, and trying to improve upon that and the many things. So moving forward, you will see in the budget that the ARPA funds are also budgeted for 2024. That does include a police department remodel, bathrooms at the park, a purchase of a new bus for the park and recreation department. I don't know if everyone knows how many kids we move around safely in that program, but as our parks director can tell you, it's a lot. So having a safe mode of transportation is incredibly important. Bringing all city up to ADA standards. We first need to do a plan called a ADA plan. We are working on that. That has begun this year. We'll move into next year to finish that planning. So that way you can begin programming in the future capital improvements if you need to bring things up to ADA standard. So anyway, those are some of the highlights with your ARPA funds. I will point out that that's just what is budgeted. That still leaves $227,407. That is unallocated. That is certainly up to the board to decide what they will do going forward with that. But that is the ARPA fund balance as it is right now, if everything that's proposed in 2024 gets completed. One once again, we bring to you a balanced budget on all of the fund levels. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, any questions for our city administrator? Again, there's been a lot of meetings leading up to this, one-on-ones, to make sure our questions were being addressed. Yes, sir, Alderman Snyder.
With respect to salaries.
Yes, sir.
This does bring our law enforcement officers up to a level where they need to be. That is going to be equal to that of cities of equal size and to the national average. Is that correct?
I can say it's equal to those around us. I'll start by answering this. I'm not as familiar with the national average as the police chief would be. But as with any budget year, I begin by visiting with the department heads. And so as submitted by the police chief, here's the recommendation that we are putting forward. And I can say that we have met that recommendation and I feel, and I believe the police chief would back that up, are competitive on our police department.
Okay, but there's always room for improvement. Is that correct?
I'd say there's always room for improvement, especially when you're talking about more money for the employees. Sure.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the board? Thank you, sir. This time, this is the first reading. Is there any here from the public who would like to speak for or against bill number 3511? Not seeing movement and Zoom wise. Okay, then, recommend that bill 3511 be held for a future meeting. So now we're going to move on to bill number 3512.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3512 on its first reading by title only.
Seconded. Okay, so bill number 3512 on its first reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, this segment Alderman Flores. All in favor of voting this motion, bill number 3512, do by show of hands. And it carries.
An ordinance amending the budget of the city of Ozark, Missouri for the 2023 fiscal year.
Okay, and at this time, we go back to our city administrator.
Yeah. So again, when you have a budget with hundreds of line items, you can do your best to project at the beginning of the year what may happen, but things may change during the year. Priorities may change. Certain expenses or you may need to have or new grants. We've done an amazing job this year of getting new grants and bringing in new revenue into the city. And so that's a pretty exciting thing. And we had to adjust for that. So bringing forward to you is the 2023 budget amendment as proposed. Certainly the finance director is here to answer any questions or help me out in answering any questions. But as we track this and we look at what we think the revenues are going to be, one of the key points I always bring up is, again, you can establish a project. It could be a road project, stormwater project. It could be a water project. Maybe that project comes in at a higher bid. Maybe that project takes longer than you thought. Maybe there's an issue that you run into. That project may have to move into the next year. So a lot of the times you'll have funds that don't get spent, but were budgeted in 23. So you have to amend that budget because you're moving that to the next year to be able to finish the project. But as Ms. Calloway has pointed out to myself and all of us and as well, when you enter into a contract, you budget for that money. You may or may not get that project done, but you have to show that you can budget for that money. And so that's what we do. And that's why the budget amendments come forward. I'm happy to answer any questions. These are in your packet. And Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for that.
Any questions for our city administrator from the board? Not seeing any. Anyone here from the public who wishes to speak for or against bill number 3512? Not seeing movement, so therefore Zoom, I know the same thing. Okay, so therefore bill number 3512 be held over the future meeting. We'll now move on to bill number 3513.
Your Honor, I move that we put bill 3513 on its first reading by title and description only.
Okay, so bill number 3513, first reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on bill number 3513, do by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance of the city of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the city to enter into a contract with D&S Equipment LLC for wastewater treatment chemicals.
And I believe we have Director Jeremy Parson to come speak to us.
Yeah, I've got a really short presentation that I think Jennifer's loaded up, but just so you know, about every 3 years, we come through with a contract and we put out advertisement for bids to see what those prices will be on certain chemicals that we need for both our wastewater and water systems. This is specifically related to the wastewater system. Put out the bids, got them back, and I'm not going to get too graphic here with how these chemicals work at the sewer plant.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's just say that the chemicals that we use in the treatment process help separate the liquids from the solids. And then that allows us to then go through the treatment process in a much more efficient manner. We have seen some additional regulations come down by DNR, but I'm happy to say that not only are we meeting those, we're exceeding those. We just had a group of DNR representatives and students come out to look at our plant to see how we're dealing with our total nitrogen issues. And we're kind of leading the way there. And that's something to be proud of as a river city. I really believe so. But basically, these chemicals work, again, just to kind of separate the liquids and solids. It gets into a lot of chemistry and science, but we get to the point where we can then efficiently peel off the higher coagulation of materials, and then we're able to turn that into sludge. Now, remember, as of next year, our sludge will then be taken through the centrifuge. We're putting that centrifuge in place right now, which will help us with land applying and will prevent that from being a liquid material. It will be a dry material or cake material. But without going any further into the clarifiers and to exactly what that, almost took some pictures, but I just couldn't do that to you. So, but any questions on this contract this evening?
I'm sure there's, if anybody wants a tour, you'll give us a tour.
Absolutely. We love giving tours. And if you all haven't, I see a few of you have, but there's a few that haven't, and we love providing tours. And it's better this time of year. The cooler the weather, the more, yeah. The less fragrant. Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
Alden Snyder.
Well, I'm just gonna piggyback on what you just said. If you have not had a chance to, it's nasty, okay? But if you have not had a chance to go out and take a look at what these guys do out there, you will be surprised. It is an impressive operation out there to get what you get down into your toilet to come out there. I'm not drinking out of the faucet they have out there, regardless of what you say. Okay, it's not gonna happen. But if you get a chance, go look and see what they do. It's impressive. And my hat is off to all of those folks out there that work, because they really do a good job with what they have in the city. I guarantee that.
Thank you. Yes, and that invitation is open to anyone. We love to take tours. So, and thank you for that.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Again, this is a first reading. So is anyone here who'd like to speak for or against bill number 3513? And Zoom is consistent. Okay. So therefore, bill number 3513 be held for a future meeting. This time we have resolution number 1992 we'd like to address. And second. Okay. Okay, we have resolution number 1992, and motion was made by Alderman Hutchinson and was seconded by Alderman Alder. All in favor of voting on motion to discuss resolution 1992, do so by show of hands. And it carries.
A resolution of the city of Ozark, Missouri, stating intent to seek funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program and authorizing the mayor to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding.
Thank you. At this time, we have from Show Me Christian County Economic Development, Miss Anna. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Before I get started, Mr. Childers, did you have anything you'd like to say, or do you want me to just go ahead?
Well, I guess I would just tee this up by saying that economic development, I mean, those are the two words. We talk about it all the time. And my hat's off to Show Me Christian County, who serves as the entire county economic development arm. The leads now come to them. And when I say leads, that means business interests that want to come in to Christian County, in our situation, Ozark, that need to have a conversation about how do we get it done. They go to Show Me Christian County, and then they, our partner, come to us, and this is one of those opportunities. They find opportunities at the state level to be able to help us get these things done. We talk about shovel-ready sites. We talk about the infrastructure necessary to be able to bring these businesses here, and that's what it takes. And so I just want to say that this is one of those opportunities that they brought forward in direct response to businesses, plural, that not only want to stay in Ozark, but want to come to Ozark. So thank you very much for that. And please explain what we're doing here and why we're doing it.
Absolutely. So Ozark, as a community, does not often really ever get the chance to apply for CDBG funds, which is Community Development Block Grants. These are federal funds that are distributed in various ways, typically through various state departments and things like that. But the reason that we don't is because, for the most part, there is a requirement for CDBG funds to go toward improvements or transportation projects or what have you that have a direct beneficiary impact to those with a low to moderate income ratio. Typically, throughout Christian County, I believe only one of our communities actually fits or falls within the threshold of that low to moderate income ratio. So typically, our communities are not able to pursue this particular type of federal funding. So a little bit of background, in Missouri, the state, and of course, across our region, across the Midwest, we're seeing an ever increased demand for specifically manufacturing industrial space, and additionally office warehouse space for things like logistics and distribution and things like that. We're seeing an increasing demand, and that means that there is a dearth of existing buildings that are available. I believe across the state, there's about a 4% vacancy rate right now for empty manufacturing space. And all the while, we're seeing, again, that increased demand for folks to be able to come to this central part of the United States, manufacture their products, distribute it out, and get it out to the rest of the country. So Show Me Christian County, as the business development corporation for the county, we're 5 years old at this point, but from the beginning, it was identified by our various board members, stakeholders, investors, and the communities in Christian County that one of our overarching main goals would be to focus on site development. So you've heard me say it before, we have a lot of land in Christian County. We don't have a lot of sites. And what that means is obviously a location where either we know that the infrastructure, utilities, broadband, natural gas, all of those things have been extended, or we know the timeline and the estimated expense for when it could be, so that we can intelligently talk with a business and say, hey, we've got a potential site for you. Here's all the various risks, and here's the timeline for when those risks are going to be mitigated for you. We have had a multitude of businesses, specifically in that manufacturing industrial sector, show interest in Ozark. Specifically, a lot of that has to do with, of course, our Highway 65 frontage. We're in a great, attractive location. We're a growing population, which means we have a growing workforce. And what we're hearing from businesses quite frequently is that Ozark and Christian County are very attractive to be able to recruit talent. So not only do we have kind of a great situation for geographically where we're located, we've got great connectivity, but we also have a lot of those quality of place elements that make, families want to live here and businesses want to invest here, which is fantastic. We're to the point now in this, in this momentum and this ramping up of being able to respond to some of these larger enterprise level manufacturers that we can say, hey, we have some great opportunity to pursue some site development that's going to mean that you guys get to come in and make the investment that you want to make and be able to hire folks for some very high wage, high skilled, very high tech positions. We have an opportunity specifically with this grant application for it's being presented, I suppose, by the Missouri Department of Economic Development. The state of Missouri, seeing the need for additional investment into infrastructure, has made this opportunity available for the state to take some of the CDBG funds that they have received and to make it available for local communities to apply for in a grant format. Specifically, the goal of the grant is for local municipal entities, a city or a county, whoever is the primary applicant, to be able to invest in public infrastructure that assists in helping private business achieve whatever their goals are for their physical expansion. So what that means is, in this particular case, we have an opportunity to apply for an industrial infrastructure grant that will help extend a roadway that's coming down this direction and coming down this direction, and needs that connection in the middle for a potential business park, industrial park type, multi-business, multi-site development to be viable. This road infrastructure is, in this particular case, the main thing holding this development back. The land is acquired, the businesses are interested. We've got folks ready to put shovels in the ground, but we need to be able to assure these businesses that this road infrastructure is going to be there and is going to be adequate for the type of traffic and cargo that they're going to be hauling in and out. So as part of this grant application, kind of the first, building the foundation, the first check of the box is for the municipal entity to pass this form that the state has provided, which is the resolution to apply. So we need the local elected body to give their understanding that we know we're applying for this grant, and we do want to follow through with it if we are awarded. So that is why we're here. We are asking for the passage of this resolution in order to pursue this funding opportunity.
Just a few more things maybe to clarify, and thank you. That was spot on. This project would be a roadway that is in our long-range transportation plan. Certainly, we have been focused over the last several years with our new transportation sales tax that was passed in 2017 on taking care of our system, widening the roads that we have and so forth. We have not looked at building a new road. But in this particular case, when I talk about economic development, that would be what we are doing. We're making that connection, as Anna said, to build a road in an area that businesses want to come to create a business park for high-tech companies that we do not have right now. The grant is 8515. So it's my understanding that the request is going to be for $2 million.
The maximum grant award is for $2 million.
Okay.
So it's a 15% match requirement from the applicant. And then there is also, in addition and separate from that 15% match, it likely will benefit multiple private companies, but there also, as part of the application, has to be a private company that acts as a sub-applicant that commits to, for every dollar awarded by this grant, again, with the potential of that being $2 million at the maximum, that company then commits to investing $1 in capital investment. So if we're talking about $2 million receiving funds as the maximum, then we're also talking about a private sub-applicant business committing to then spend $2 million of their dollars as well to really take advantage of the investment.
So it's a public-private partnership. That's really what it is. We've talked a lot about that, on how those work for us. I think the infrastructure part is the $2 million request. That doesn't mean you'll get it, but you make the ask. That's simply why the number, I wanted to make sure I said that, because that's why the number 300 was plugged in there based on the 15%. We don't know that that's what it will be, but we're saying, hey, listen, we understand what we're asking for. We're understanding what the match could be. We just
300,000 would be the maximum match.
Yeah. So I think that is a good point that you bring up. It was asked, well, what does the developer have in the game? Well, these developers have to commit to creating those jobs at a certain level of pay.
Mhm.
They have to make sure they pay benefits.
Mhm.
They have to do all the things with the state that say, I am committing to creating these jobs if this comes in. So that's a big commitment on their part. So it is a balanced public-private partnership project. It is in our long-range transportation plan to look at improvements in this area, and it opens up an additional piece of property that we don't really have the opportunity to develop right now.
Correct.
So
There also, this is, I would say a additional benefit. It will open up, additional connectivity for the residents in that area. And then we also are talking about, this area being adjacent to the planned, Chadwick Flyer bike pedestrian overpass, where it's planned to come across 65, which was another, Department of Economic Development grant that Ozark applied for and received. So, with the additional, bike pedestrian, potentially foot traffic and the potential for some additional commercial development there, we're looking at this as a long-range investment.
Since you stated, I'm assuming there is a private business person who's committed the $2 million.
Yes,
Otherwise, we couldn't apply for the grant.
correct. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Any questions for? Okay. Okay, thank you. Of course, it's.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you. No, there's no. Is there public on this one? Okay, thank you. Okay, I want clarification. Okay, this is resolution, but we do have this open to the public. Is there anyone from here who wishes to speak for or against resolution 1992? Okay, no? Okay, at this time, then we'll, yes.
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we adopt resolution 1992 made by Alderman Hutchinson, second by Alderman Galloway. All in favor of voting motion to approve resolution 1992, do by show of hands. And it carries. Thank you all very much. Now we'll be moving to our second readings and final passages of these next set of bills. And therefore, this is, at this time, this public discussion is closed for second reading. We're going to begin now with bill number 3497.
Make a motion to read Bill 3497 by title and description only.
Second.
Okay. We have motion to read bill number 3497 by second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Alder, it was seconded by Alderman Galloway. All in favor of voting to discuss bill number 3497, do by show of hands. And it carries.
An ordinance amending the municipal code of the city of Ozark, Missouri, chapter 405, relating to zoning regulations.
At this time, Director Kim Smith, anything you wish to add? This has been discussed several times, but anything you wish to add?
No, just to point out that there was a motion for one revision that was complete on item number 4. My page is page 13, so I think that's been incorporated. Other than that, be happy to answer any additional questions.
So, yes, Alderman Alder.
I like the change. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else from the board? Alderman Galloway?
This is the bill that we received a memorandum on. So
That is correct. I suspect that's what it's in regards to, the way I'm quickly glancing through that memorandum.
I was handed that a few minutes before the meeting, and it may have been emailed to me this weekend, and I may not have been on the spot and looking at my emails. I know that I haven't had an opportunity to study it, but I didn't know if you had any remarks based on it.
Just in glancing through, there's a lot of references on 8 pages, and the few minutes I had to glance through that, we need further time to actually read through it in detail and consult with our city council as well to kind of derive some summaries or thoughts on that memorandum.
But I think the bottom line is that the ordinance doesn't propose public park amenities, however, which is to distinguish its situation from the case that was cited in point 1, where were park amenities that were had issue there. Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Sure. this ordinance does not require park amenities that is accessible to the general public. As I understand it, it is designed to be amenities for the neighborhood that's built. Is that right?
That's correct. It's geared to provide those amenities for the residents in a subdivision for that particular subdivision.
That would seem to distinguish it from the case that was written about in this memorandum in 1977, which addressed essentially park amenities for the public as a taking. And then the pool, the so-called pool ordinance is an ordinance for a pool or a whole set of amenities. Is that correct?
Yes, a pool or equivalent at the developer's option to propose those equivalents.
And the pool is just served as a calculator.
Yes, that's kind of a base calculator.
I think there was a criticism in here that there would be difficulty establishing pool construction value. I know that you have only had a few minutes to review this, but that would seem to be something that we would have addressed, but I want to know.
Yes, when an applicant does make application for a pool, they do put in an estimated construction cost. So we can gear that based on discussions with the applicant or developer to come up with a logical pool cost based on what we see and what the trend is for pool construction. So we would have a way to kind of back check or double check and coordinate that with the applicant.
So there would be something that we could measure it against.
Yes, that's correct.
I think the final, well, not the second to last point, but one that was of interest to me. It dealt with a question. I think it states it is unclear how improved recreational areas could be located in a required stormwater detention area or wetland conservation space. It's on page 7. It's not a very long point, but I wonder. And what I did to you, Cameron, is as soon as I saw it, I gave this to you. I know you had a few minutes to look, but I wonder if you might look at page 7.7. It doesn't seem like a complex point. I hate to put you on the spot, but
Yeah, and let me glance in the ordinance, but I believe what it provides is in those stormwater areas is more of a passive type play, which is a common green space, or a minimal structure that would be calculated in the storm design. It's not meant for the swimming pool or clubhouse, pool house to be in the detention area.
okay, so that is clarified within the ordinance.
Yes, well, that would be clarified in the ordinance and also with just the general design standards for improvements of stormwater design calculations.
Oh, I see. Existing stormwater design.
Yes, yeah.
Standards. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all my questions.
Alderman Snyder?
This is not directed to Mr. Smith. This is just comments in general. If we're good with that.
Yes, sir.
You know, for the past couple of weeks, I've been contacted by many people that elected me into this spot. And they asked me to give my thoughts on it as they gave me theirs. I have a problem with forcing someone to do something. I don't believe that this ordinance, I don't believe we have a right to tell a developer what they can and cannot do and what they must and must not do. I think that should be left up to the individual developer. I know folks on this board differ with me on that, and I understand what they're saying, you know, because they want to make the neighborhood a place people want to live, they want to adopt, they want to make it their home. But what I do have the problem with is when things become so unaffordable for people. And I believe by adopting this in the way that it is now, it's going to make these homes really expensive. And people are not going to come here because of that. Someone else brought it to my attention. As little as it may seem, we have public pools. And building all the swimming pools that we have in Ozark takes away from the use of our public pools. And that was just one thing someone had brought up to me. And I wanted to bring it out there. I believe that, the folks have a voice with this. And I'm not going to support this. I will vote no on this because that's the way they asked me to vote. And looking in retrospect, I just don't believe we should afford or just make a developer do something that they can't. That's just not going to be sustainable. And that's what I have to say about it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the board? Galloway?
Well, I think that framing the issue that way, of course, you could say, well, I'm against it, but really what we are doing is giving developers a choice. This applies to small lot developments. It is designed for what's coming, which is a lot of small lot developments in Ozark. The concern is looking out over the horizon is what will these small lot developments look like 20 years from now? Right now, they're expensive homes, small lots. 20 years from now, I don't know. It's a balance for us. A town that says no to growth is a town that will die a death. It will steer away commercial development, the kind that we need. So you don't want to go that direction, but at the same time, this town has a character. Ozark does. That's why I moved here. And people that I've talked to that are constituents are very worried about how this character of this town will change. Inevitable. But how we grow is within our ability to influence. The thought here behind this legislation has been talked about for years was for our president as they come in with small developments and for our citizens 20 years down the road. If developers choose to do small lot developments, this ordinance would require for them to have some skin in the game. Also, on the impact on existing park infrastructure. If you look at the city of Ozark, you could divide it in 3 sections: north, center, south. Where's our public pools at? They're in the center. It's the OC, which is relatively new, and the Grubauer pool. Then we have, that's just pools. Park would be our half of the Finley River Park. We are finally developing linear trails, which will come online, thankfully. But excluding those, development was Center City. Why is that? Because that's all we can afford. That's historically where these park infrastructures came in. That's what we can afford. We don't have the tax base to sustain park services for north and south. That situation is probably not going to change for a while. That's why we chose linear trails, which are easy to get grant money for, easier to maintain, and very popular with the public. We just don't have the pool. We don't have the capacity to take on these large, small lot developed existing parking infrastructure. So I've talked to those people who are pro-development.
Any other questions for Dr. Cameron? Okay. Yes, yes. Okay, you make a motion that we approve on second reading, bill number, yes. Okay, okay, so second this, I'll read it then. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so Alder, saying by Alderman Galloway, making a motion that bill number 3497 become ordinance number 23-082. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Alder. Alderman Galloway. Alderman Snyder. Alderman Flores. Alderman Owen. We have 5 aye votes, 1 nay vote. Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to second reading of bill number 3498.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3498 on its second and final reading by title.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that bill number 3498 on a second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. All in favor of voting on discuss bill number 3498, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally known as a parcel approximately 2.76 acres at 700 South 11th Street.
Okay, well, welcome back, Director Cameron Smith.
Just be happy to answer any questions.
Is any of the I'm not seeing anything from here. This is, so, thank you, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt bill number 3498 as ordinance number 23083.
Okay, okay. The motion is to adopt bill number 3498 to become ordinance number 23-083. Motion was made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Alder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Owen. Alderman Galloway. Alderman Flores. Alderman Alder. Alderman Snyder. Alderman Hutchinson. We have 5 aye votes, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Okay, now we'll move on to our next bill, bill number 3500.
I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3500 on its second and final reading.
Okay, so the motion is bill number 3500 on second reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Owen, is second by Alderman Hutcherson. All in favor of voting on motion to discuss bill 3500, do by show of hands? And it carries.
An ordinance amending the corporate boundaries of the city of Ozark, Missouri by annexing 4 parcels of certain real property at 1301 East Daniel Street, 1203 East Daniel Street, 1202 East Rainy Street, and 1300 East Rainy Street.
Okay. Yes, sir. Any questions for Director Cameron? He's gonna be up here a lot in the next 7 bills. Any questions for Director? Yes, sir, Alderman Snyder.
This was going to be the item that they wanted to change from SF1, I believe, or RSF1, is that correct?
This is the annexation for 4 parcels down off of south of 14th Street. That's in the county. They're annexing those 4 in to get on city sewer.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the Director? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt bill number 3500. That's ordinance number 23-08.
Do we have?
Second.
Okay. Okay, the motion is to adopt bill number 3500 to become ordinance 23-084, made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. Roll call, please.
Alderman Flores. Alderman Snyder. Alderman Owen. Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Galloway. Alderman Alder. We have 6 aye votes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to bill number 3501.
I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3501 on its second and final reading by title. Second.
Okay. Okay, the motion is to excuse me, okay, try this again. Motion is bill number 3501, on second reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. All in favor to discuss bill 3501, do by show of hands, and that does carry.
An ordinance amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property, generally known as a parcel, approximately 0.36 acres at 1301 East Daniel Street.
Any questions for Director Smith? Okay,
I gotta make a motion to adopt bill number 3501.
yes.
Sorry. Bill number 3501 as ordinance number 23-085.
And we have, okay, the motion is to adopt bill number 3501 to become ordinance 23-085. Motion made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. Roll call, please.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Alder.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Flores. Alderman Owen.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, next, we're turning to bill to 3502.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion for, to place bill number 3502 on the second and final reading by title. Second.
Okay, the motion is that we, bill number 3502 on its second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Owen, it was seconded by Alderman Flores. All in favor of voting to discuss bill 3502, do by show of hands, and that does carry.
An ordinance amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property, generally known as a parcel, approximately 0.36 acres at 1203 East Daniel Street.
Okay, any questions for Director Cameron? Because he wants to come back up to the mic. Okay. Okay, not seeing, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt bill number 3502 as ordinance number 23-086.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, the motion is to adopt bill 3502 to become ordinance 23-086 made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. Roll call, please.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway. Alderman Alder.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
Alderman Owen.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you. Now let's move on to bill number 3503.
I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3503 on the second and final reading by title. Second.
Okay, the motion is to place bill 3503 on second reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. All in favor to vote to discuss bill 3503, do by show of hands. And does carry.
An ordinance amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property, generally known as a parcel, approximately 0.36 acres at 1202 East Rainy Street.
Any questions? Because Director Smith, he really wants to talk again, I know. Okay, I'm not seeing any motion, so let's go on.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adopt bill number 3503 as ordinance number 23-087. Second.
Okay, the motion is to adopt bill 3503 to become ordinance 23-087. Motion was made by Alderman Owen, second by Alderman Flores. Roll call, please.
Alderman Alder.
Aye.
Alderman Owen.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Flores. We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, now we'll move on to bill number 3504.
I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3504 on the second and final reading by title.
We have second. Okay. Okay. The motion is that bill number 3504 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Owens. It was seconded by Alderman Snyder. All in favor to discuss bill number 3504, do by show of hands. And yes, it does carry.
An ordinance amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property, generally known as a parcel, approximately 0.36 acres at 1300 East Rainy Street.
Okay, again, any questions? We're happy, so yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt bill number 3504, as ordinance number 23-088.
Seconded by? Okay, the motion is that we adopt Bill 3504 to become ordinance 23-088. The motion was made by Alderman Owen, the second by Alderman Alder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Alder.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Owen.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Now we'll move on to Bill number 3505.
I'd like to make a motion to place bill number 3505 on the second and final reading by title only.
Seconded by? Okay. Okay, the motion is bill number 3505 on its second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Owen. It was seconded by Alderman Alder. All in favor to discuss bill 3505, do by show of hands. Yes, it does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a contract with Cole and Associates Incorporated for services related to an American with Disabilities Act transition plan.
Okay. Anything you wish to add, Director? I think this is John, yeah. Okay. Any questions for him? Since we just moved off from the houses now, we're on actually different. Okay. John, excuse me. I don't see any, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to place, to adopt bill number 3505 as ordinance number 23-089.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay. Okay, the motion is that we adopt bill 3505 to become ordinance 23-089. The motion was made by Alderman Owen, seconded by Alderman Hutchinson. Roll call, please.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Owen. Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Alder.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to bill number 3506.
I move that bill number 3506 be placed with second and final reading by title only.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. So motion is that bill 3506 be placed on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Hutchinson, the second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor to discuss bill 3506, do so by a show of hands, and it does carry.
An ordinance approving the petition to establish the Highway CC Community Improvement District as a political subdivision of the state of Missouri, finding a public purpose for the establishment of the Highway CC Community Improvement District, approving appointment of the initial board of directors.
Uh,
The attorney for the Highway CC and Community Improvement District is on Zoom if there are any questions.
Okay. So city council, anybody has questions for the lawyer regarding the CID? I am not seeing any. Appreciate him zooming in, but so, so, okay, and we have second.
Second.
Okay, the motion is to adopt bill 3506 to become ordinance 23-090. Motion was made by Alderman Hutchinson, second by Alderman Galloway. Roll call, please.
Alderman Alder.
Aye.
Alderman Flores. Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Owen. Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to bill number 3507.
I move that we place bill 3507 on the second reading by title and description only.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is to place bill number 3507 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Flores, the second by Alderman Owen. All in favor to discuss bill 3507 by show of hands, and it does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Southwest Missouri Joint Municipal Water Utility Commission for water storage.
Okay, And I believe this is Director Jeremy Parson. Any questions for Director
Happy
Parson?
to answer if you have any.
Okay,
Move that we adopt Bill 3507 as ordinance 23-091.
the motion is to adopt Bill 3507 to become ordinance 23-091. The motion was made by Alderman Flores, the second by Alderman Snyder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Owen.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Alder. Alderman Hutchinson. We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, let's move on now to Bill number 3508.
Your Honor, I move that we place Bill 3508 on the second reading by title, short description.
Okay. So the motion is for Bill number 3508 to be placed on second reading by title only. Motion was made by Alderman Flores. It was seconded by Alderman Snyder. On favor, discuss Bill 3508 by show of hands. And yes.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a contract with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly Incorporated for construction inspection services related to Phase 2 of the Chadwick Flyer Trail.
Any questions for Jeremy Parson, Director Parson? Okay,
Move that we adopt Bill 3508 as ordinance 23-092.
second by. Okay. Motion is to adopt Bill number 3508 to become ordinance 23-092. The motion was made by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Snyder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Alder. Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Owen.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Flores. We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you. And y'all be happy to know, now we're moving to our last bill. It's Bill number 3510. Okay, and seconded by,
Second.
okay. The motion is that we move to accept Bill 3510 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Hutchinson and seconded by Alderman Flores. All in favor to discuss Bill 3510, do by show of hands. And yes, it does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a contract with Great Lakes Marketing Research for services related to a citizen survey.
Thank you. Any questions for our Director of Communication? Because she wants to answer questions, I know. Okay,
I move to adopt 3510 ordinance 23-090.
it's seconded by, okay. The motion is that we adopt Bill number 3510 to become ordinance 23-093. The motion was made by Alderman Hutchinson, it's seconded by Alderman Flores. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Alder. Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Owen.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder. Alderman Flores. We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Now we're moving to reports. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I really just have one update. I got an update today. I know we talked a lot about it, the ash tree project that we have talked about. I believe McCart sent an email out saying that the contractor that we've selected is going to mobilize on Thursday. They are coming from Kansas City, so we don't know exactly what time and so forth. They were coordinating with the Parks Department and their staff to make sure that the appropriate people were there so they could develop a plan. And then they will work with our communications department. I'm sure once people see large trees being cut down, they'll probably be curious as to why. And so we want to make sure we communicate that. So that'll begin on Thursday.
Understand. Any questions?
I don't, Mr. McCart, I don't remember what's the time frame for completion.
If everything went permitting and everything, they should be in and out.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Good. Okay, any questions
Happy to answer
for
any
our city administrator? Okay, at this time, we're going to be moving into closed session regarding legal action and also personnel. So it's a motion that we go in closed session.
So moved.
Okay, and Okay, the motion is we go in closed session. Motion made by Alderman Galloway, same with Alderman Alder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Alder. Alderman Flores. Alderman Galloway. Alderman Hutchinson. Alderman Owen. Alderman Snyder. We have 6 aye votes. Motion carries.
Okay, y'all. We're not adjourning. We had a question brought up by one of the aldermen. Is December 21st is our next birthday?
Yeah.
Is that a challenge? I mean, we got one for one. Is that a challenge for everybody in the division four?
On the third Thursday?
Yeah, should be right now.
For me, this is why it doesn't mean I can't.
What is there better? Or just,
Can we do 14? Would that be better? 14,
We'll just keep it the 21st, keep it in.
okay, okay.
now on that, then the topic was gonna be economic development, and we were gonna, I believe, invite the county as well as the Ozark Special Road District to at least that presentation.
Yes,
Okay.
you're correct.
Okay,
Okay. Any other questions?
so it will be the 21st.
21st.
Okay, I'll see what I.
Is it motion adjourned?
Yes, motion.
Second motion that we adjourn made by Alderman Galloway, and I think it was on the side. On favor, do so by, show of hands. And that's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Drew, can you make the 21st?
It's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try.